Florida coast. Nearly 1,200 miles of pristine sand, mangroves, and coral reefs. It's a paradise for pleasure seekers and home to an unforgiving wild. A battle rages between a deadly cast of characters and the hope of a new generation. When Ponce de Leon first set foot on Florida's shores, the swamp ran all the way to the chicest sands in America. South Beach used to be mangroves. But this coastline is now an altered Eden. Tourists basking in the Florida sun may be surprised that secret worlds are hiding beneath their beach chairs, and by what may join them for an afternoon swim. Out past the breakers, you could be floating alongside an eastern diamondback rattlesnake. The most dangerous snake in North America is living right here in Vacation Land, USA. It swims between islands in the Florida Keys. Many people think the only good snake is a dead snake. But men wielding machetes best beware. A rattler strike can be fatal, deadly in the blink of an eye. This snake has gone months without feeding. Now, it's time. An extended trachea allows the snake to breathe while he devours his prey whole. On the Atlantic coast, sunset has left the beaches empty, setting the stage for one of the most epic primal journeys on the planet. Hiding under deck chairs and daiquiri bars, a clutch of loggerhead turtles are hatching. Their odds are hard to fathom. As few as 1 out of every 10,000 hatchlings will survive. Hogs, crabs, and raccoons are notorious nest raiders, gobbling up the hatchlings before they ever get the chance to launch. The loggerheads that do make it into the ocean will find even more accomplished killers waiting. This isn't Australia. This is America's Great Barrier Reef. Florida boasts the 3rd largest barrier reef in the world, filled with magnificent color and deadly monsters. Caribbean reef sharks are the apex predators here. But not all hunters wield rows of sharp teeth. The hypnotically beautiful lionfish are aliens and carnivorous. It's believed the invasion began when Florida residents dumped their unwanted aquarium fish into the Atlantic. In fact, DNA testing has shown this entire population traces back to only 7 or 8 females. It's believed native fish don't recognize lionfish, so they don't take evasive action when confronted by these predators. Suddenly, 90% of the reef fish are threatened. The invaders attack with a breakneck strike, rivaling the speed of a diamondback. for the hunter, it's literally like shooting fish in a barrel. The worst part, they can lay up to 2 million eggs a year. And they're not going anywhere. Where the mainland ends and strings of coral islands stretch into the sea, a ravenous hunter cruises the brackish waters. South Florida is the northern edge of the American crocodiles range. From raccoons to humans, if the croc is in position for an ambush, anything looming near the water could be potential prey. Crocs may have outlasted the dinosaurs, but now they face a different kind of pressure. Coastal development has moved in on them, dramatically altering habitats. The croc searches the coastline for a meal. But his prospects are empty. Storms, people, and other predators can reduce the opportunity for the apex to eat. The sun shines on the residents of Florida's Golden Coast most days of the year. But there are times when death rains from the sky. Hurricane Andrew struck South Florida in 1992. The Category 5 storm devastated the region, totaling over $25 billion in damages. The everlasting cost was still hiding in the camouflage. It's believed Burmese pythons found Florida's perfect climate when they escaped a destroyed breeding facility during the devastating storm. Under the python's rule, where wildlife once flourished, silence now reigns. In areas of South Florida where the pythons have established a stranglehold, some mammal populations have decreased by as much as 99%. All the while, the native croc still goes hungry. A full moon is their cue. It's time to break for the sea. A frenzied energy drives 80 hatchlings headlong into the night. For millions of years, moonlight and starlight reflecting on the ocean's surface was a powerful beacon to emerging hatchlings. All they had to do was follow the light to reach the cool embrace of the sea. Now, a baffling artificial light show can hypnotize a wandering hatchling away from the sea. Back toward land. It's a modern-day siren song, leading directly toward ruin. The American crocodile will eat anything. It can ambush and drown. The eastern diamondback rattlesnake kills by injecting venom deep into its victim's body. These two titans are on a collision course. Crocs eat snakes, but this could be a risky endeavor. The rattler's venom is a deadly defense. Saved by a blue crab. But it's only an appetizer. This beast needs an adequate meal. Under cover of dark, the loggerhead hatchlings sprint for the sea. It's a quiet night on the beach. Few predators are lurking. Many reach their new saltwater home and claim their first victory. But there's no safety in the waves. This young turtle's approaching deep water. She's completely vulnerable here. Every shadow could mean disaster. Sharks, barracudas, moray eels, and even the alien lionfish can strike out here. Variations in the Earth's magnetic field lead her to the Atlantic Ocean's superhighway, the Gulf Stream. But she'll need to find shelter. A drifting raft of sargassum seaweed is an oasis for the traveling turtle. It's a floating world full of tiny creatures seeking sanctuary. Here, the turtle can ride the temperate currents of the Gulf Stream in relative safety. The Gulf Stream is one of the most prominent surface currents on the planet. Literally millions of animals ride this ocean superhighway across the Atlantic. Its warm waters protect, nourish, and provide a place to grow. Several years and 9,000 miles later, this loggerhead will return to Florida's shores as an adult. If she can keep herself secret in the sargassum. The eastern diamondback searches for a new clandestine cove where he can ambush. But not all creatures roaming South Florida's Atlantic coast fall to the rattler's poison. The king snake is a constrictor, growing to 5 feet in length. It dines on a mixture of lizards, frogs, and other snakes. He'll even eat a rattler. By the grace of natural design, the king snake is immune to an eastern's deadly venom. This diamondback is twice the size of the king snake. But the rattler pulls back, knowing its natural-born killer is on his doorstep. The king snake realizes that this diamondback is too large to eat. But that doesn't mean he can't trumpet his commanding rule with a parting strike. King snakes are spread throughout Florida and strike fear to many in its domain. Even so, he could find himself on the menu. Deadly emperors patrol these skies too, and also strike with unmatched speed and precision. Today, the snakes have caught a break. The osprey prefers fish. Their visual acuity is 4 times that of a person, allowing the raptor to spot prey from great heights. The osprey locks onto the shimmer of a kill lying just beneath the surface. He's mastered the art of fly fishing. Lionfish are taking over Florida's waters, and they aren't going anywhere. Even their potential predators in the Atlantic don't recognize these aliens as prey. In fact, there's only one species known to kill them. These men, armed with spear guns, are on a crusade to save the reef's native fish. Today is only a small battle. The war is ongoing. Rat snakes are plentiful all across Florida, foraging for rodents, lizards, and bird eggs. There are 2 things a rat snake will avoid at all costs: a man with an axe and a king snake. Today, the rat snake took the wrong path. It could cost him his life. a suffocating constriction, the king squeezes the life out of its subject. Crocodiles don't have to eat all the time, but they want to. Crocs can go without feeding for up to a year, even shutting down and living off their own tissue in extreme cases of food deprivation. But these prehistoric deadly hunters would much rather feast. Possums are scavengers. Once food and water is no longer available, they'll move on in search of the next easy meal. This one picked the wrong time to search for new feeding grounds. It's best not to rummage too close to this water's edge. The same waters that provide gentle passage can also fuel violence on a massive scale. Fed by wind and water currents, seasonal tropical storms grow into full-scale hurricanes, wreaking destruction on both wild and human inhabitants. Tossed about in an angry sea, the hatchling can only hope that her floating refuge will endure the tempest. winds have stilled, and a calm envelops Florida's Atlantic coast. The crocodile scans the empty shoreline. The animals he hungers for perhaps drowned or washed away in the storm. The diamondback, again hidden in plain sight. With time and with luck, the young loggerhead will ride the warm water currents across the Atlantic and back. Her chances are dubious. But should she survive this ocean odyssey, she will return to her natal beach with legions of her kind. The maternal instinct is specific. After years offshore, most females return within 100 yards of their last nesting site. A loggerhead queen will nest multiple times in a season, improving the odds that just one of her young will survive on these deadly shores.